Elphaba Throp, I know you're out here. Just come in before the monkeys spot you.
The most generous thing I can say about the first Wicked movie from 2024 is that its ending provided welcome relief. After slogging through more than 2 hours of clunky Wizard of Oz revisionism and heavy-handed political messaging, the film at least closed on a stirring, energetic high. Cynthia Erivo's Elphaba soared over the Emerald City, belting, defying gravity, marking her transformation into the feared Wicked Witch of the West. It felt like a natural stopping point, one the filmmakers should have respected.
But they didn't. Instead, the creative team behind Wicked decided to stretch a story that was already bloated on stage into an unnecessary 2-part movie event. The original Broadway show took long enough to get through. The choice to split the film adaptation into 2 installments felt like a decision driven less by artistic vision and more by box office wishful thinking. It doubled the runtime to a staggering 5 hours and forced audiences to wait a full year for the second half. To be fair, the split worked tolerably well in part 1. Erivo and Ariana Grande brought vocal firepower, and John M. Chu's familiarity with musical spectacle gave that segment some glossy energy. The scenes at Shiz University, where Elphaba and Glinda forged their odd couple bond, at least had charm and visual rhythm. But whatever strengths Part 1 possessed vanished almost completely in Wicked for Good. In the second installment, Oz descends into full authoritarian chaos. The wizard, played with a smug, passive-aggressive menace by Jeff Goldblum, tightens his grip on the land by stripping animals of their rights and voices. Elphaba, as expected, rebels, freeing caged creatures, unleashing winged monkeys, and pushing back against the regime. Michelle Yeoh returns as Madame Morrible, a character so aggressively villainous she feels less like a person and more like a memo about tyranny come to life. Morrible sets out to manipulate public opinion by turning Glinda and Fiyero against Elphaba. Yet, the political tension is diluted by a thick layer of melodrama. Fiyero's forced engagement to Glinda, his hidden love for Elphaba, and the trio's emotional triangulation play out like a daytime soap stripped of its charm. Visually, the movie fares even worse. Scenes are either blindingly overlit or buried in murky darkness. It's hard to feel invested when I can barely see what's happening. Elphaba's sister, Nessa Rose, becomes another major narrative obstacle, though not for the right reasons. The film reduces her to an embodiment of bitterness and possessiveness, tying her emotional cruelty to her disability in a way that feels both lazy and defensive. Her storyline with Bach and her role as governor of Munchkinland create a predictable pathway toward the classic Oz nostalgia, but not an inspired one. And that's the heart of the problem. Wicked for Good exists solely to contort itself into alignment with the 1939 film. Dorothy appears in brief, symbolic flashes, and the movie force-feeds us grim origin stories for the Tin Man and the Scarecrow. What felt like a playful behind-the-scenes twist on stage becomes a clumsy, joyless set of explanations on screen. The film isn't honoring Oz, it's smothering it. Attempts at romance fare no better. Elphaba and Fiyero's big emotional moment is weighed down by syrupy lyrics and flat dialogue. Lines meant to sound intimate instead feel like placeholders waiting for a rewrite. Whatever adult complexity Gregory Maguire explored in his novel has been sanded down into generic sentiment. The only sparks of genuine emotion appear when Elphaba and Glinda finally confront each other. Their long-simmering friction erupts in a magically charged showdown, and both actresses rise to the challenge. Grande especially manages to give Glenda's disillusionment real weight, even though the new songs added for the film are instantly forgettable. In the end, Wicked, for good, collapses under its own self-importance. It claims to critique mass gullibility and authoritarian manipulation, yet it never builds a convincing world to support those themes. Its vision of Oz is shallow, its storytelling clumsy, and its treatment of its characters, especially its ordinary citizens, borderline contemptuous. Rather than expanding the Oz mythos, this film undermines it, proving that sometimes the most merciful thing a movie can do is know when enough is enough.